Welcome to Object-Oriented Game Design. So welcome back to Game Design Part 2. This is where we left off yesterday with the main menu, status bar, the game, and the game design one. I just wanted to get into textures and graphics today and maybe setting up the player class. But as we left it yesterday, we still got this problem with where are we? setIcon, set look and feel, um, which leads to this piece of text there, this piece of code. We need to set up a constructor and a new class called texture that takes path and a file name, and then we need to set up a module in that class called getImage. But before I get ahead of myself, we've got 4 classes at this point. This is a program called UML or Omelette. It's a UML diagram program. It's free to download, so I would recommend you do download it if you're following this. The purpose of this is to model the system. And since we've got 4 classes at this point, it's probably a good time to start doing this. We really should have set this up first, so we knew what we was looking at as far as the code. So you can use agile methods where you don't do everything in the same order instead of doing it in a waterfall way. We do one step, then the next step. So our first class we created yesterday was game design 1. And then we added the game class. Oops. And then we set up the main menu. And then finally we dealt with the status bar. Now, we know that the game design has a direct link. I can find it. This always does that. It's very easy to misclick in this. This modeling program is actually based on Java, I believe. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So game design has a one-way link, as far as I know, it's one way to game. So we set game up like that, and game design and status bar also linked to game design 1. So I need a few more of these. Make sure I put on the right one. Should put that on the side. Okay. So this is our basic system at the moment. We've got the frame class game design 1, which has got a direct link to game, main menu, and status bar. In game, we put a few attributes. What were the attributes again? Let me think. Title, which was a string, and version, which was also a string. Status bar, we had one called status, and I believe that was a string as well. And then the main menu, we didn't have any in it. We also had a few methods. What do we do? Get status, which returns a string, and set status, which has the argument the string message string. So basically this is how we set it up yesterday. I know game design's got a few more objects in, and we'll add them as well, but that's basically how you start modeling the program. Because I'm going to start changing this model quite dramatically today, adding a few more classes and that. It's probably best to get out of the way here. Let me just set these up with some parameters. The language I'm writing down here might look different to whatever you might have typed before, but if you drag and drop any of these items in there, especially the stereotype class, it will show you what sort of setup the language should be down in the properties here. And this is where you type to change anything in the model. So in game design, we had the get height and the set height, the get main height. And then I had a height in, which was an int, and that returned in. That returned void, and that one's a void as well. Okay. Okay. Oops. This one's also got the set and the get for the width as well. Save time, just copy those over. Oops. Replace the height with width. Right, so as you can see, we can model this and add different classes in here without producing any code or much code to test things out and see if they work better this way, or whether there's any patterns we can see emerging from the classes or any of the modules inside the classes. Main menu, can we just demonstrate anything in there? No, we just got the constructor in there and all the objects are created there, so I think best thing we can do here is the constructor, I think. Trying to think where this goes. This way you can add and remove things if there's any duplicate code in any of the classes. Like I found yesterday, I found title and version in status bar for some reason. I have no idea how it got there, but I've deleted that obviously. But yeah, that's how you would model the program. So let's just save that as. You kind of stretch these little panels out a little bit. Really, unless you're doing use case diagrams where you describe what get status is set status is all about, or activating these what it does, and the use would be the actor in this, and you can do package diagrams as well and create empty packages and such. So that's a good program to model your software with. Back into this game design here, I wanted to get this icon out of the way and start a few textures today. So I created a 16 by 16 um, blank document in Photoshop here. You can use what you want, paint on that. Got a 32 by 32 and I've got a 3/4. Now I'm going to start with a 32 because the 16 is just going to be a copy of this one, scaled down. So get rid of the background, Control A for select all, delete, and Control D to deselect. This is the 32, so I'm just going to go for a simple GD1 design, quick as I can. So there's our icon for game design 1, 32 pixel by 32 pixel image. So we'll scale down to 16 quite well. The reason we need the 16 is for the icon in the top corner. The 32 is for the XC that we create when we export it and wrap it in X. You'll need an icon for that as well. So to save time, I did the 32 first, which you use for the X, and then we'll just copy them over to the 16, which I'm going to do now, but I need to get rid of this background. Control A, delete, Control D, and just drag and drop these. And we can get rid of that now. Yep. Alright, now these just got to scale down, and I'm not sure if I have to rasterize the layers before I can free transform it. Let's give it a go. Worked out a lot easier than I thought. So there's a 16-bit version, there's the 32-bit version. Slightly different in level of detail, obviously, but should work fine. Alright, I need to set up a project folder for this, so we can put all these little details in there. So save to web if you're using Photoshop, and just save it in your game design 1 folder. I've got a folder on the desktop called projects, and then I've created game design 1 inside that. I'm going to keep all the PNGs and the Photoshop files and the model files in this folder, just in case you want to change the originals. That way you know where to find them. You got your folder and your project set up. So just going to save that again and replace. Do the same with a 16. Do the same tile, but make sure you can tell it's a 16 because some of them look the same in preview. Okay. don't forget to save as a PSD file as well if using it. So projects for the game sound 1. This is the 16-bit icon. I think we can just use the same name. No, that's completely wrong. Game dash 1. Let's just GD1 dash icon dash 16. So if you want to update that, at least you got a copy of that. You know where it's the original. It's not the PNG version. I would recommend saving in PNG as it's a smaller file size than JPEG, I believe, and it allows transparency in the background, which can be important. So I need to save this one as well. It's probably going to come up with the wrong folder. Let's check it out. No, it's in the right one. That's not okay. So again, that's just 32. Alright, so we've got our 2 icon files. The last one is the first sprite sheet. Don't know what else to call it at this point. We might need it to be a specific sprite sheet for a specific part of the game, and we'll get more creative with the file names if that's the case. But yeah, there's our 3 images that we're going to start these textures with. We've got the icon for the top corner, we've got the XE size icon, and we've got a sprite sheet. So save that there. I'm just thinking if we need a player sprite, but we can actually draw one out without using imagery at the moment. So back to code. Let's say we're going to need a texture class. But going back to yesterday, textures are going to be part of the graphics. So we're going to do texture in a new package called graphics, is basically what I'm saying there. Okay, and that's going to go in graphics package. Okay, So just to get the icon out of the way as quick as we can. Excuse me, I've got other things going on now. We need a constructor in here, and we need a few methods. One in particular, the get image method. Just going to copy these comments from here, and maybe even part of that constructor, just to kick things off with the code here. No, I don't want to import anything. I do want to close that off, and I need to change that to that. This is going to be a file name here, so I'm assuming string, and I think it's a file path. Simple as to set that up, except we need the parameter. There we go. Alright, so start a texture classes here. We go back to game design one. I've done this wrong here, sorry. Alright, how am I going to do this? I want to start off with a fresh application and call it game design 2. So with the spaces, I forgot. And actually create this new package inside here. Let me just find this source. So if I just copy these down, sorry about this. And do the same with those there. I can actually delete this and delete that. And the reason I want to do that is I want to keep the first tutorial, or whatever you want to call it, as a separate project, because in its own right. That way I can export project to zip and be able to share that code as it is. I could probably throw the UML models and the PDS files in there as well, in case I want to import, export, upload it to Git even. I'll find that out later and put in the right folder. So we're at game design 2. So we're going to close yesterday's. We're not working on those, we're working on these. This really just needs copying into game design 2. I think all this can go once. This is just all the code from yesterday, so the frame. I didn't want to add to this code. I wanted to keep a record of the last stopping point in the project. That should be game design 2. That should be GD2. That should be GD2. Anything else in there? Status bar is not happening. Main menu is not happening because that is wrong. Okay. Now all the other files should be identical to the original, but I'm not changing the original. So we're on this part at this point, and I just need to delete that from here and open that. Right, yeah. So I've got a clean project. I've got the original there, and this today's project we're going to introduce these textures. So in our attributes of here, we're going to be dealing with two different kind of textures, and we're going to set these up in maps so we can control how many of them there are. These maps are probably going to have to be static, I believe. So let's start with static map of string and buffered image. Okay, let's spell that right. No double O. Okay, and that's going to be our texture map, and that's going to be a new hash map. And again with the same diamond arguments, and close off. I'm just going to copy those over. Okay, and we need another map as well for the second type. The first ones are buffered images, and they're going to be our textures in our texture map. We're also going to use something called a render. I got it from Journal and Notch. They use a render class, and they got some pretty cool modules in there to break down images and rebuild them and such. So that's going to be our render map, or ren map, and that's going to be render. So already we need a new class called render and a few modules in there. But let's deal with these textures first. I need to import map, util map, util hash map, and or image buffered image. Can't import render yet because it doesn't exist, so that's fine. We'll move on with that, except I change these comments. And for objects that look like that, we just add that straight in there. Of texture object. Okay, and render run. Okay. Alright, so moving on to do need a few more, don't we? I'm going to run through these as quickly as possible. Each of these renders is going to need a render. So static render. Each render is going to have a static string render file name. Each one is going to have a static int width and a height. And even if it's a render, we might want to get the image from it. So static offered image, ren image. Okay, so that's the renders basic attributes needed. The other attributes are offered image, image, string, file name, string, file path, which we may have already used as an argument, so that could cause a problem. Right. There is actually two lots of width and height, and these should be ren width, ren height, just so they don't get confused. So how we would set this constructor up? We would these are all going to be public statics for a start. The images these are, because you're gonna, and they're probably not going to change, so you can do them final. Starting with an example of a render. P player one. Image might rely on a load bitmap module, in which case you might have a file path that says player 1A, as it might have an animation on it where there's more than one image for player 1. So you could do it like that. Just trying to think here, is that like a png.png at that point? But this sprites would also be in a res folder, but we're going to add that res in the load bitmap module, so I don't add that in there, and we may add the .png there as well. I'm not sure yet. Give it a go. But that's an example of a render. Moving straight on to the first constructor. We'll come back to the load bitmap here. So we're going to texture with the file name, file path, file name. And the first thing we need to do is this dot file name equals file name, and the next is this dot file path res plus file name plus dot png. Okay, so obviously this texture is going to add the png and the res at the start, so you would just refer to this constructor, this texture, and then sprites player 1a, and it will add the rest for you. That needs changing. And close it off. Okay, now we're going to do a check to see if the image is already in the memory. I'm going to create a buffered image called alt text. And the alt text equals text map get file name. Use. And this is not my code, by the way. This is Boss Let's Play, who made this constructor up, and a few other bits of code in there. The rest is journals. But I've modified it to include both. I do like the style of both programmers. And Notch's code is probably somewhere in there as well. Not deliberately like, but Notch's code is everywhere. Okay, so we're checking here if the alt text is not equal to null. That means it's actually in the text map already. Then we're just gonna say this image equals alt text. And if not, we're gonna load the texture and add it to the map. Because loading the texture here, I will put a system dot println, and we're gonna just display what we're putting out there. Loading texture. Okay, so we're gonna make a new variable in game at this point. See how many textures are actually in the game and be able to count it. You only want one text count, so we're going to create this in game and call it text count. Just so we know what number of textures being loaded, if that makes any sense. So you know how many is in the memory of the virtual machine, or if there's any missing. Okay, plus file name. That should do it. So it's coming from the texture class, loading the texture, we've got the number of the texture and the file name coming up. The file name won't have the PNG or the res on, that'll be the path, and we're going to use the path now. So this image, in this case, would equal image io dot read, and this is texture class get resource. Is it file name or file path? Okay. So the get resource seems not to need the res at the start either. I've just included the res in the file path that gets added to the map. But here we'll use file name plus .png. I think that's right, but we'll check it anyway. Then all that's left here anyway is to add it to the text map. File name and image, is that correct? That is correct. And increase the count, which should always start at 0 when the game starts. So that should keep hold of the number of textures in this map. We can always use text map size or text map length, I think it is, to check if that's correct. But that's how we're going to do that. It's going to give me some errors because I need to put that in a try and catch. But additionally, inside this else, yeah, inside the else, we've also got to do this width. There we go. This width equals image get width. This height. Image get height. Alright. It's this bit here that needs a try and catch, so I'm gonna try and read the image and update all that. We're gonna catch IO exception if we can't find the file. And in the catch, we're just gonna put a logger file, logger line now. But I'll let Netbeans deal with that. In the game, we can add this as well. Got a tile the version. Now the game is gonna keep count of the textures it's in the game from start to finish. How many's loaded into memory. See if there's any problems anywhere where a file's too big or something, and the game won't start because of it. But yeah, I believe that might have to be static, because again we're accessing it from outside of game, so that should get rid of any of those. We still need to import game, we still need to import the image IO and the IO exception, so let's do that and import game. It's not public in game, so we need to make that public. It used to be a public static, which gets that one out of the way as far as whether it should be public or not. See, the rest, if it doesn't tell you that you need to make them public, the rest can really be private, or public static if they're already static. But any non-static variables you got left that Netbeans doesn't tell you need the public for, they should be private, I think. Need to save that. Okay, onwards and onwards. Image IO. Add the import. Save. IO exception. Here we go. Press the wrong one. Import the IO exception. Okay, and these are leaking in the constructor. Access and a static field width. Do they need to be static? Are the others static? Yeah. Okay. We'll leave those warnings in, but that's the constructor for texture. Grabbing the file name, creating a file path, checking if it's in the old map. If it is, in the texture map. If it is, use the old texture. If not, load it into the image variable, add it to the texture map, and increase the texture count. If you use this shift line right here, this will indent your code a little, just to clean that up. And really, we should have a logger in here. Get logger. Texture dot class. Get name. Dot. Is that right? Log. Level. Severe. No. E. Right. Yeah. Text class. Get name. Log. Level. A few imports there. That's all that is. Utility login level. That should be right. I think I've imported the wrong log. Yeah, platform logger, wrong one. From Sun. Let's try that whole package. Oh, still got problems. Oh, well, we'll leave the logger for now. Sure, I've typed it right, but just doesn't like it. It's because I've imported the wrong one. Let's try and get the right one. It's not a Sun one you want. Logger. It's not the platform logger, it's login logger, I believe. We'll do the level bit first. Got the wrong one. That's Java util login logger. Thought I typed it right. Okay, so that is the texture constructor completed. It's going to check if it already exists in the memory, and if not, it's going to load it into the memory and add it to the map. Do a custom finalize. Then there's a few render modules, but then we need the load bitmap, which is quite a long one, and I think we should get right into that now. Then we can grab the image. So there's two more modules I want to pull off in here. First is public style. render load bitmap. Again, this is channel code. This is a few modifications from me. I'm not sure how much, but most of it's going to be channels code. Because I like the way that boy codes. Alright, so we got render file name equals the file name. And we need a string for file name here. Okay, and it's going to be returning an entry from the rend map. And it's going to be get. Oh, not get class, just get. Render file name from the map. But before we get to that bit, we need to do the same check as up here. Ow. We're going to start from here on this bit. So try and catch again. There is a try and catch as well, so let's just throw all this code on to load bitmap and change all this to old run. Run map. Old run. And this is just the render. Old run. Alright, this is not buffered image, this is actually a render. Render old run. Okay. This is not loading texture, it's loading render. It is. Just in case we don't use a constructor on this, we still need to keep account. And again, a new variable in game, render count, and that's render file name. Here, yeah. Again, this is going to be render. Now this is rend image. And it's IO read, but this is render file name. Rend map. Render file name. Rend image. No. Render. Increase the render count. But we still need to deal with the width and height, so rend width equals rend image dot run height equals run image height. Then we need to create a new render out of render. And that needs height and width. So run width, run height, which will be the constructor in the new render class that we're going to need to create to get into this working render. But how much of the render class that I need to put in there, I don't know. Trying to work as quick as I can here. So the render image, we need the RGB, and it's the one with a long list of things you need to put in, and it's 0, 0. Let's start at the X and Y to run width to run height to render pixels. Another variable we'll have to put in there. 0 and run width. Okay, close that off. So that's how you get the render image RGB loaded into the render pixels. We're going to draw the pixels out from the render. We're going to draw the images out from the buffered images. Slightly different things, but all drawing images at the end of it. Okay, as far as the pixels though, we do need to put a check in here just before we put this in the map. And we're going to have to go through all the pixels of each of the images that we put in. So we'll do a for loop in I, as long as I is less than render pixels length. Oops, wish I could spell. I plus plus. Okay. So go through all of the pixels and check if I am individual pixel equals 0x ff 0 0 ff. Okay, and if it does, then we need color to equal -1 or none. And after that check, we need to add that to render.pixels. I equals color if it's not -1. But the in and the color needs setting up. And in color. In equals render pixel I. Individual pixel equals color equals in and 0xf dash 2. I think that's correct. So loading the bitmap, we got the file name, we add that to the variable render file name. We create an old render out of the file name from the rend map. If it exists, then we use that one. If not, then we load the image in, get the width, height, create a new render with those variables, get the RGB from the image, check every single pixel in the image to make sure it's not this silly color here. If it's not that, then add it to the pixel array. Then put the final render into the map and increase the render count. I don't think we need the width and height down there. I think that's all there is to it. We don't. Okay. But this is not an IO exception here, is it? Yeah. We'll keep the logger in. You can throw a new runtime exception at that point with this IO exception, but we'll keep that as it is. We need to create a render class and add a few variables to game. Excuse me a minute. Anyway, excuse the real world interruptions. So yeah, we need to create this class render, and again, it's going to be in graphics, so I might as well go ahead and let Netbeans sort that out, I think. Render count, might as well do that manually, and then we can move on to get image and render count is in game. Yeah, nearly put it in the wrong class, so it's going to need a public static, and it's an int. There we go. Add the comments for render count. Okay, so building up here, you can see the model. We'll have a few more things to add to it tomorrow, and that should disappear if I've saved that properly. Yeah. Okay, still need the render class. But yeah, I think we should let Netbeans do it from here. We're creating a new render. Create a class render with the constructor with the width and the height ints in the graphics package. Yeah, that's fine. So that sorts our constructor out pretty quick. And if we go back in here, just tidy this up a touch. So each of these is going to need some of these comments. Let's put these in now, so just copy and paste them in. We'll update them in a little while. But this is going to be a lengthy class. This is, you can imagine how many sprites you might have in a really basic game. We've only got one at the moment. Okay, we need attributes in here. And obviously in render we're going to need a width and a height. And pixels, width, height, and pixels, and they're all int sort. height in array pixels. And they can all be final. Another one we want is static string of chars. Char equals I'm just going to type this out of limit. I'll get my button side. Yeah, my shift's not working at that side on the keyboard at this point. Great. And these are going to be the letters that we typed in our sprite sheet: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V. I think that's as far we got on that line. And then the friggin' shift's not working. W, X, Y, Z, I might have got that wrong. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, hash, exclamation mark, shift again. I think that was right. Just need some of those. I should do that. Just check that. A to W and then X. That's it. No, I got it wrong. So VW. And then the second line starts with X. And the string is capital. Okay, save. Alright, so that's how we can draw out these images from the sprite sheet of these characters. Which should be really good when we get around to it. Okay. Alright, we want render width, render height there. I think we should just have width and height as the argument. Language or name. Probably shouldn't have two widths though. Okay, and that's render. Alright, so to load our render, we only need three things. The width, the height, and the pixels. So this width equals width, this height equals height, and pixels. So a new integer array with width times height. Yeah, if my shifted work, that'd be great. Width times height is the arguments. So it's going to create a pixel array of whatever size, width and height render you set when you call it. And I think that's it for that constructor. Do we need a draw? Not at this point. Okay, there's going to be quite a few draw methods in this class, and scale draw, but we'll get round to them. There is one particular one I was interested in. Called draw text, just to get these characters in play. So public static, public void, sorry, and it's returning nothing, so it's draw text. And it's going to take argument of string msg. It's going to be an int scale, int x, int y, and int color. Okay, and then inside here we're going to have a for loop. So int char equals char's index of, and it is message char app, and that's going to be an I. We need to do ni equals I less than message length I plus plus close off. Okay, so that loads the character into that variable, and do the check if, goes my shift key, if char equals is less than 0, continue. Otherwise break is the logic there. Then we need another int double x, int double y. Then we are going to have the scale draw at that point. Great. Alright, so we're going to make two modules out of this, I just decided. So that equals ch percentage 40. I've probably got these wrong now because the number of characters I'm actually working from on this other code is different, so this will mess up. But just to show you how it's done, how to mess it up. This one equals ch shared by 4. These are actually 42. But I think that refers to the number of characters that we got at the top, so ours won't be 42. 26, 26. I think 42 is something to do with the size of each of the letters. But anyway, it'll make more sense for the next line of code. Here we're going to create a new module called scale draw. My keyboard will stop falling to bits. And that's going to be a texture. And it's going to be sprite one. A sprite sheet one. And then we're going to need a few variables, x plus 1. No, x plus I should have been times 16. And it's not a capital I. As soon as I got cap locks on, I'm not surprised. Okay, that's the x, y, just y. It's double x times 6. Y times 8. A 5, 8, and a color. Now all of those x, y's and that, they may need changing. I think I could have messed them up, but we're going to read the sprite sheet 1 texture. We're going to then draw it out as a render with these variables using this scale draw module, which we now have to create. But why is it not that? Alright, I equals 0. Yeah, so we just need to create a sprite sheet in there and a scale draw in here. But getting away from myself here, we need a get image, I believe. Yeah, get image in here. So just quickly public static buffered image. And it's called get image. And all that's going to do is return image. Because the render's going to be drawn out in render. The images you might want to draw them out somewhere else. Can't be static because image is not static. There we go. And just add some code in the comments even. That is get image. And it needs to return img. There we go. And that's all you really need in the texture class to get the image for your icon. I've got a few errors coming up here. I'm not sure why. I's not been initialized. I'm good at not initializing these I's. There's that one done. Any more for any more? No. So okay. We do need one more object here, and it's going to be a renderer as well. Copy. This one's going to be sprite sheet 1. We'll refer to sheet 1 now. I don't know if that's the right name of it, but we'll figure it out anyway. Okay, excuse me a second. real world bullshit. End of school time and that's all the noises outside the house as usual. There we go. So we've got a sprite sheet and texture now. We can call it and it should load what we tell it to off the sprite sheet. We will have to mess about with the variables because not everything comes through, perfect straight away first time. But yeah, we've got the constructor for texture. Got to load the bitmap. That is two ways of loading the bitmaps really. You can load it as a buffered image or you can load it as a render. We're using the texture constructor to load it as an image and we're using load bitmap to load the renders. Um, just completely different ways of reading files in. But if we want to get the image, it's just get image. All the renders will be painted onto the screens slightly different to the images. So, okay, so if we go back to game design 2 now, we find where we did the icon yesterday. We can uncomment this, and now we have to import the texture. I'm not sure what icon is underlined. Okay, import game design graphics texture. And because it's private, it might. We need to create the icon field as well, which I thought we did already. Okay, buffered image icon. Although it's not a link. Okay. That's the icon variable set up now. If we have the correct file path, where is that? In setIcon, which we don't at the moment, so we'll get that error that we programmed in. Speaking of which, though, where is the? We need to create a res folder as well. We need to do some setting up of the build. So all these files can be found. This could get frustrating. Sprite sheet 1 is what it should be called in texture. Okay, but there is no sprites folder at the moment, so I'm going to get errors on both of these. So let's create a res and a sprite folder. And it also wants to create a method called scale draw with all those in, which I'll let it do. We're not going to be calling this at this point anyway. This was just an example to show you how to use sprite sheets and how we're going to use the sprite sheets in the future. But there's going to be numerous draw and scale draw methods in here just to deal with all the renders that come out, which most of the images that we're going to put on the screen in the game logic at least are going to be renders as opposed to textures or images. Right. We need to find this sprite sheet. Or at least copy it into a res folder. So I'm going to create a res folder anyway. We can find it here. New folder. I'm going to call it res. And that should do. Finish. So where's my folder? Come on. It's getting there slowly. Looking for all kinds of packages. All I have to do is create a new folder. Right, we did create the new folder. It's not part of the package yet. That's my fault. That was to find this folder. mm, We need to go to the properties of project. As you can see here, the source package folder's only got the source in there. We need to add it to get it to be recognized. It should already be created. Excuse my computer deciding to find packages and all types of stuff in the background at this point. I'm gonna say I paused it there, but it's just come up with the wrong folder as usual. Game design 2, res folder. Okay, and open that. And now you've got the source package folders included the res. I don't think there's anything else we need to do in there at this point, so I'm just going to close that off. But we can't put this sprite sheet into the res folder until it exists anyway, so needed to be done. Excuse my computer not taking the mic. And now it's background scanning the projects. Yeah, I'll be back. So yeah, back again. Still got background scanning there with the projects, taking the mic. But we have got a res folder set up here. When it does come up, might be able to copy this into it. Uh, so welcome back. My computer just crashed because, or Netbeans just crashed at least, because I created that res folder. Now it's giving me errors in game. Yeah, I lost a few pieces of code there. I just had to type them back in, and it's changed a few things there as well. No idea what that was all about, and now these have all decided to have errors too. I think we've all right. Let's not get confused with yesterday's, which have reopened up here. Texture. It's looking for the wrong game. See, NetBeans has done all this itself. I've not touched this, but and it's gonna have the same in this one here. No, it's somewhat completely different. Main menu, no. Oh well. Looking for the wrong game. Okay. Now back to background scanning the projects. I hate NetBeans sometimes. It really does turn into a tedious IDE. Alright. So back where we were. We just created this res folder. And we're going to put some images in it. And we need to find where those images are. There we go. Got them selected already. Just drag and drop them into the default package. Don't want to move actually. So I'm going to copy instead. And hopefully they'll paste. There we go. This is GD132 I think. That's a 16. And that's the sprite sheet. But notice we need these file names plugging in now because they're completely different to what's in this this texture. And I believe we need all three. No, we just need the one at this point, which is sprite sheet 1 or GD1 dash sprite sheet 1 or sprite sheet dash 1 dot png. And that should be able to read that. Save texture, going back to game design 2 where the icon is needed. We can see we've already done this bit, and Netbeans decided it don't want it, so it's reverted back to a previous version. Excuse me while I just fix it. Create a field like we did 3 minutes ago. Okay, so the texture for this one is going to be, I believe, not sure if we need the res here or just the file name. We'll go GD1 dash icon dash 16. And if we don't add the PNG or the res, it'll give us an error and tell us that's not allowed. The next and last bit we need to do here to get this icon image to work. We're still going to get an error if we run it at this point, because it's a texture that's not available. But we need to set the icon image here. Because that texture is available, there's no problem in just uncommenting that art. So it should come up in the top corner, but we need to fix this final error at this point, which I'm just going to do with a simple comment out of this line. We haven't got a player 1 yet, so there's no point in loading the image. I was just using that as a demonstration of how it works. Sprite sheets at PNG because that's on load bitmap, but for the icon image we're loading a texture which adds the PNG and the res, so we don't need the PNG and the res included. That's fine. Alright, so now we can run it and we'll have the icon in the top corner. Sorry it took so long to get to that point, but I do need to set up a few things. The res folder might actually need to be part of the build as well. We might get an error from that. It might not be able to find the images, but if it does find the images, we'll get one texture loaded with file name gd1-icon-16 down in the output. Fingers crossed, if nothing else is broke. If my computer don't let it take that long to load it up. Here we go, we got a set icon error, can't find the image. It has tried to load the sprite sheet image, but we've not got the icon. A legal argument exception, input null in the IO read, so we've got a problem with the address that it's trying to find. So it's trying to get the file name PNG here. I'm lost on that point. So in res anyway, I'm gonna do a new package, and I'm gonna call it icon, just to separate the issues and make this file path a bit easier to follow. And then I'm going to grab the icons and move them into that. Alright, so now we need to change the address it's going to icon. Alright, that is how I've got it in another program, and it should work exactly the same in this one in theory. Let's give that a go. Try again. Now we've got error in render. After all that time. Okay, no idea what happened there. As you can see, that's exactly the same code that I put in originally. And now we have the icon on top of the screen. Obviously, I'm going to edit this video, and you'll never see that bit. But GD Game Design 1 icon is up in the corner. Finally. Alright. So not too sure what happened there. All this is all the same. It's not loading the sprite sheet, I think is what the problem is there. And we've asked it to load the sprite sheet here, uh, which was causing our error. Not good. So maybe that should be in the res. It actually uses bitmap, doesn't it? Yeah. I think I've put a new package in here called Sprite. Move the sprite sheet into there. We might even be able to solve that error today. But I'm unsure if it needs this PNG. I think we need a forward slash to the start. I think that's why it didn't load. Easy to mess that one up. So load bitmap always starts with a forward slash because it puts the res in front of the file name. That's why I couldn't find it. And putting it into the sprites didn't change that. I just that's just tidying things up. There's that one loaded. That's that one loaded. So the sprite sheet is loaded in memory now. But it's loaded as a render, and the only texture we've got is the icon, and that's why we've still got 0 and 0 here, uh, as opposed to having two renders or two textures. It's recognizing that we're using the texture constructor to create the icon image, and we're using the render load bitmap to come up with the sprite sheet. Now we'll put that forward slash in. Anyway, soon figured out. Took long enough, but there it is. That's Game Design 2. I know we didn't seem to do a lot today, but we've now got resource folders with sprites and icons in, and a sprite sheet. We've got the render class in, we've got the texture class in. We have fixed the set icon for the frame, which means our texture class at least is working. Now we've got the right format for the file names and file paths. Did we do anything in game? We added a couple of more variables in game here, and we created the render constructor with a few attributes at the top here that could do with comments. I'll fill them in a bit. I think I've took long enough on these at the moment, but yeah, everything needs to be commented really. We got the constructor and we need the comments for draw text, and we're going to need some comments for scale draw when we finally employ it. But we're getting there slowly but surely. These errors that come up in the textures, probably a difficult milestone to get through. Make sure your computer, well, your program, your code is running correctly. One of the first hurdles is getting images on the screen, and as you see, we passed that today. But We could have gone further in the time that I took. We really could have. Okay, so this is a parameter message, parameter scale, and then we can add the other three here. X, Y, and color. Okay, so that's draw text on there. Scale draw. Right, I forgot what these are. I think this is X, Y, X offset, Y offset, width, height, and color. So let's just put look them in. X, Y, X offset, or XO, YO, width, height, and color. That makes more sense. So these are just W and H. Let's say X, Y, XO, YO, width, height, and color. Alright, yeah, that makes a bit more sense. Just to set them up for next time. We didn't get around to the draw text yet from the sprite sheet, and we are going to have to change some of these here because these values are old values from a different sprite sheet, so we need to fix that. But we got the image loading in, so I think the next time we can work on getting some pixels on the screen. We might need a screen class to do that, and we definitely need a few more draw methods inside render here. Probably won't add many more images at that point. We just work with the same sprite sheet at this point, unless we make the player class as well. But yeah, screen class and a player class are probably the next best thing to employ in game design 3. Alright, sorry it took so long, but there you go. There's the code for that.